Well, it seems like we have finally returned after months of dead. Even after I said that we're back. Welcome back to the Horror Cabin Podcast, a show where we talk about all things horror. I'm your host, as always, Roho the Demon Wolf, and with me, as always, are the wonderful, I guess I would say also undead hosts. We got Immortus the Wendigo and Tay Wolfy.
Yo, what
How
up,
are you guys
peeps?
doing tonight?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Doing good.
Yeah.
I'm doing good as well.
It's so I just want to say before I start out, I had to be at work like for about 30 minutes earlier today after I just woke up, and I was about to be like, oh boy, I got to work for hours now, don't I? No, turns out I had to cover for this one guy while he was working with the police. I was saying, hey, why, like, what's with the police here? Did something happen? He was like, yeah, apparently some uh the new night shift guy apparently got robbed at a gas station, one of those small business local ones, like out of any other that are here. So I'm in for a scare when I go in tonight and a few nights afterwards. Ain't that surprising, huh? Yeah, that's how my day's going. But we're not here to talk about, the crime that happens here in my place, which barely happens, trust me. We're here to talk about the horror stuff that we're used to, ones that are behind the screens, either in text or in film. The ones actually we're focusing on right now, at least for the first two, are, horror stories. Specifically ones that are all over the place on the internet. I once again forgot to put up the timer. I really need to remember to do so. Anyways, Tay actually looked forward to doing this episode, at least for the first segment we're going to talk about right now, which is creepypastas. You know? Yeah. You guys are familiar with creepypastas, right?
Yes.
So many of them. It's been around for ages.
I was obviously one of those people that grew up with all that, and I even had a little middle school cringe phase that I had, which was I was a creepypasta fanboy. I don't want to get into that, but this is the kind of shit that I grew up in, and it's a lot of like horror stuff that people, I guess, around my age, which would be like late 90s, early 2000s, when, they get to middle school in the 2010s. A lot of people that are in the horror community grew up with, creepypastas when it was like in its prime, I would say, which technically was like around 2012 to like 2016 when it started not getting as popular as it was back then. Thankfully, people are still talking about it right now, which is, one of us, talking about it to this day. Taste, this is your favorite segment. How would you go first?
Okay. Well, I got a really good topic here.
Okay.
This is about a really creepy thing. This thing really creeps me out. This guy is named Jeff the Killer. Now, Jeff the Killer is a really very scary human-like whatever he is.
Maybe he is human, so
Yeah, really scary looking human with a really scary face. So basically, about Jeff, he was supposed to be, he's a disfigured, he actually was supposed to be set on fire by these gang of bullies, and he pretty much lost his sanity. He was only 13 years old. He lived in a big neighborhood with a whole bunch of kids. He lived in a big neighborhood. Jeff was actually brutally beaten up. He took a bunch of he actually got blamed for hold on a second, I'm looking at okay.
Like,
sorry, I lost
a lot
where
of
it was.
Yeah, you're starting to trail off a bit,
Yeah. The bullies were actually named Randy, Keith, and Troy, and he was beaten up by them, and he got threatened with knives. He took the blame for it, and he was arrested. Um, he got sent into a really deep depression,
Mhm.
and then he actually broke out. He actually he broke out of jail and went to this party. And Jeff actually killed one of these kids, and he actually he got covered he covered this kid in bleach and set this dude's body on fire. And then that's what really set him to go actually mad. um uh he actually was sent to the hospital the next day. um and he was all covered. His body was all covered in damages from bandages from the wounds. Um, and um, his body, when they took the bandages off him, his body started to be disfigured. Um, he had ghastly pale. He got ghastly pale burns, and he's got red lips, and
Could be blood.
and he's got yeah,
Yeah.
blood lips with a leathery texture to him.
How about it? Yeah. Like more about his face. Like, what did he do to his face? That's what people want to know.
Yeah, what did he actually? And people really do want to know what he did to his face.
I mean, they know, but still explain it.
He said that he really liked his face, and he started laughing. He started laughing, like going mad, and the doctor really was a total idiot. I don't know why the doctor did this, but gave him painkillers, and he sent Jeff home. And Jeff's mom found him carving his face into a smile, and and then he literally and then he had no longer have to exert energy to smile, as he put it, and burning off his eyelids so he could always see his face.
He cut off his eyelids as well, so that he never sleeps. Like that's what the story says.
And his mom told her husband that he's gone completely mad, and they actually threatened to kill their own son.
Very good parents,
Yeah. And Jeff Jeff was actually caught, and actually Jeff caught them. He stabbed his parents to death. And and then after he did that, and he actually almost tried to kill his own brother. He almost plunged a knife into his brother's body when his brother was asleep. And then he started going into killing rampage after that. After he killed his parents and his brother, he started to go mad. So
yeah.
That's pretty much the whole thing about Jeff the Killer. There wasn't really much information on him, really, but I think he's a really scary looking human being.
So I got a few things to say about it before I basically get into mine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jeff the Killer. Not that bad of a story. I've definitely seen worse, but I will say it is very overrated. It's like to the point where, when you first hear the words creepypasta, the first ones they'll think of is Jeff the Killer. And the only negative thing I would say about the story is that, well, I think it's because of that story that it spawned a lot of, I would say, not good OC creepypasta stories. Like You got ones like Nina the Killer, John the Killer, or the fucking the story Cleo the Killer, I would say. That I think might have been the worst out of, all the ones that were spawned. But the fact that there were so many of them, like, that proves, like, how big a fan base that, the Jeff the Killer story has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So anyways, get to my story. I find this one to be more, not like really creepy, but like I would say gave me more chills than the Jeff the Killer story. It's called Liars. And basically what it is that it's this kid in high school. Wow, once again, a very very original setting, I would say, whenever it comes to a kid in a creepypasta story. Basically, it was this kid. I think his name was Vincent, I believe, or was it? Oh no, it was Jimmy. That's right. Or no, it wasn't Jimmy. No, was it? It was Jimmy. Yeah, somewhere out there. Yeah, yeah, Jimmy. That was his name, Jimmy. All right, sorry, I had to look it up for a bit. So basically, it was a Jimmy that basically was like the class clown, I would say, in school. And he would basically make a bunch of jokes, like a crude MILF jokes, as they said. One of the guys that did it to him was this guy named Brett, who basically was tired of his shit. So Brett got his friends cornering Jimmy into a chemistry class, or science room it says, but I would say it's chemistry class. And they basically I guess I would say he got into a scuffle, which caused I guess Jimmy to like break uh this one what do they call those things? Beakers, they're called, I think, whatever. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, beakers.
Yeah, beakers. So it was a beaker of acid, basically. So like after Jimmy fell to the floor, he knocked over the beaker acid, and it poured all over his face. Basically, I would say disfiguring his face. A lot more disfigured than what happened to Jeff, which this is another thing I have to say. Being burnt doesn't make you go pale. It would make you basically have the same skin as Freddy Krueger. That's what happens. Anyways, so what was it? What was that I was hearing? Okay, never mind. So afterwards, Jimmy basically got he basically went insane afterwards. Because once the principal, he found out that when the principal was questioning the Brett and his friends, like, what happened to Jimmy, they didn't say anything. They were like, we don't know, he was just playing with the stuff, and then Jimmy didn't like that. And you could tell he went insane because he stopped with all the jokes. He barely talks to anyone. He only says this one thing: liars, because he was talking about with Brett and his friends. They lied to the principal saying what happened. So days afterwards, Jimmy starts getting a revenge plan on those guys. What was it? The snuff films that people basically talk about in horror community, like in the horror community, where you basically see a live execution going on. He basically sent Brett a tape, and the tape was like two of his friends. One of them was already cut, carved the word liars onto the back with the knife. Hello, Nala. Hello. Thank you for interrupting our set. and and so what happened to the other guy? He was tied to a chair, obviously terrified, like looking at Jimmy's like disfigured face, basically, who's walking around him. Then the tape cuts to the one friend that's still alive, running through like in a snowy forest, I would say. Has like no shoes on. It doesn't have a shirt on. I think he only had pants or something. And he was trying to get away while like screaming for help. Then in the last cut, you see Jimmy fucking yell liars, and then just runs at the camera, basically killing the other guy. But the video feed cut out. Brett obviously was terrified, and tried to run away, but was hit with a pan on the way around the corner. And when he wakes up, he finds Jimmy. And of course, the only thing he said was liars. And what he did to Brett is that he got the same acid from the class and poured it all over Brett's face. And I think at that point, that's where it killed him. And that was pretty much the end of the story. what's the moral of the story? I guess don't mess with a quiet clown kid that could go insane. I guess like that's the moral of the story. The image I would say though, and me editor, you can put up the picture of what it looks like. Basically, that scared me more than reading the whole story. Like I actually had a nightmare based on that one. And yeah, that's my story. Immortus, you go.
Jeez, man, we're gonna do this one has been popular.
Okay.
It actually ties to my state.
God,
There's a reason I'll get behind
you
that.
and
I'm
the
doing
horror stuff going on in Wisconsin. What is going on here?
Very. Okay, I'm doing Slenderman. So basically, the origin of him, he was created in what 2009 as a picture. He had no face, tuxedo, tentacles coming out. And if you were to ever see him, you would have nosebleeds, you couldn't sleep, you would just go crazy. You were like, I can't sleep. Like, and if you're in the woods at night, you're basically gone. Like, he just sees you. Like, even if you have like a camera, the camera goes wonky. You're basically dead. And there's a video series on this called Audible Hornets. I don't know if you guys heard of it.
Yeah, I have.
They covered it's not real, but it was just everywhere, like just all over. Like people thought it was real, fake. It's obviously not, but there's an origin behind him called the Grossman, the German folklore. Okay, it was a carving an artist in the 16th century of Germany. It's tall, disfigured man, white spheres. His eyes should be. He has no eyes, right? Just no face, just emptiness. And it was in 1702. And basically, the myth was he would take bad children and just slaughter them. Like, so there's like it's weird because there's two sides of it. You got the Slenderman and their Grossman. They're different, like, origins. I don't know if that makes sense. It's just weird, but that's interesting to me.
It would seem like one is the one that we know, Slenderman. It seems to be a reference to, the one you're talking about.
Yeah. The main reason why I'm doing this, there was a Slenderman stabbing in my state in Waukesha, Wisconsin, May 31st, 2014. Two girls. I'm not going to say their name. They lured a friend in the forest, stabbed her 19 times because they went crazy because they saw the Slenderman, blah, blah, blah. And they recovered her 6 days in the hospital. They were not found guilty because mental disease, but they were sentenced to mental health institutions to 25 years to life for 40 years.
Which, by the way, that girl that got stabbed. Sorry to interrupt. Which, by the way, the girl that got stabbed so many times, she's still alive.
Yes. And also, which is really ridiculous, is that they're getting released at age 37.
Oh boy.
So they're getting out for not a long time, but still, it sickens me. But
I wonder if I can get an interview with those girls, like wondering why the hell.
Right. Back to the origin of Slenderman.
Yeah.
So basically, it increased moral panic, like negative behavior. So if you saw the Slenderman, you wouldn't be able to move. He puts you into a state of hypnosis. You can't do anything. Once you're there and he sees you, you're frozen shut. You can't do anything. And people are just like, they can't move because they see this face, this figure that's like a tree.
Yeah.
He was basically a walking tree. And parents and children were just freaking out, and they're like, oh my god, like, what do we do? I can't do anything. And there would be pictures, like, hey, this, you find pages all over the woods. Oh, my kid is gone. Just encounters that you would face. Some people did survive. They would just hide, and they would not sleep. They saw him once, but they would, like, go somewhere else. They see him again, but they would be, like, taking, I don't know, Advil or some, like, morning time stuff so they can't sleep, right?
Yeah.
So they're just like, they just keep drinking coffee, whatever. There's a story, like, there's actual pictures. I mean, they're fake, but it freaked a lot of people out when this was portrayed because some people thought it was realistic to the point where it's like, oh, is this real? Like, no. he would not walk towards you. He would just teleport. He would just stare at you.
Yep.
They call him the Observer. There's paintings of him. Called him a god, even. And that's basically the gist of him. He kind of died off with his origin, but moral of the story is he created moral panic across the world. Like literally, there's people that did not like it.
Yep.
It was freaky. Like all the series I watched, it felt realistic, but it wasn't. It's interesting that there's two origins of it, but yeah, that is the whole pasta of this guy. He's no longer talked about, which is sad, but
well,
he will be remembered in the creepypasta history for years to come. So that's why I picked it, and yeah,
and
should be it for that.
And may I point out, by the way, that I don't know if this is really true or anything, but he's been around before the creepypasta days. See, the creepypasta website was made like around 2010. And obviously the Slender Man was around the X Image board, I believe it was, or paranormal board. And that was like a year ago. That was a year before that. And technically, people are saying that not just Slender Man, but the Marble Hornet story, they were like the founding fathers of creepypastas, because they were the first ones that, has been around. See, the whole thing with creepypasta, I should have mentioned this before. Shut up, phone. I know time's up, but I want to say this before we move on to the next segment.
Right.
I just say that they were definitely known as like the first creepypasta monsters, because a lot of people would copy and paste the whole story and post it somewhere else.
Right.
See, it's creepypastas are basically copy pastas, but they're more focused on horror stories, So it's like the same thing that you would see. It's like the same thing you would see like on Reddit, basically. Obviously Slender Man will forever be remembered, much like all the other creepypasta stuff that we talked about. Of course, we only mentioned about the 3, which is like the tippy tip of the iceberg. There's like so many that we could talk about, with many more still being made to this day, which I find fascinating. Yeah. And most of the stories that are added to the creepypasta website, most of them, at least from the titles, they were from this subreddit that where a bunch of people make their own like short horror story experiences, I would say. Now, I guess since we're still on the topic of creepypastas, I would say, because this is where it came from, basically. There is this one creepypasta thing, I would say, that has so many stories, I would say, that it has its own wiki, I would say. Has its own community, and I really don't know where to go with this. It's the SCP Foundation, basically. I have made a video about these guys, where I talk about it's basically an international secret government that captures anomalies, do some tests on them, say how powerful they are, like how dangerous they are to civilian life, and maybe even the whole world, because some of them are basically world enders. And I say, for this segment, we talk about our favorite SCP monster. So, for mine, for example, I went with SCP-895. And basically what this thing is, it looks like an ordinary coffin, like one of those wooden coffins that people were buried in, like, I would say, decades ago, I would say. Maybe centuries ago, I would say. That's more like it. And if you just look at the coffin itself, nothing really happens. However, if you look at it through like camera footage, all of a sudden you're seeing like one of the most horrific things that you could possibly imagine. And just looking at it, through the cameras, I would say this: the closer the camera is to the coffin, the more horrific and gruesome things you would see on camera, to the point where you'll have psychological trauma, I would say. I don't know if this thing ends up, whoever looks at it, gets himself killed, I would say. They have it redacted on the website, so I don't know. I don't really know what happened. That's what I believe happened.
Yeah.
In fact, it's even in 895 even features in this game the SCP containment breach, and you do die if you look at the coffin through the through the camera. So I would think they actually kill themselves. I would say, like by going insane. And we could tell something like this happens because in one of the addendums, there's an audio excerpt between command and the leader of a team. They were like, it's like how's it go? They go to the site of where the coffin is at, because the commander's seeing some weird things going on. This is like around the time that they I just hit my mic. This is around the time when they first got the 895.
Yeah.
On their way there, they're starting to see they're seeing blood on the walls on camera. Team one is like, I don't know what you're talking about. We don't see that. And then they're like, oh, okay, never mind, it's gone. Then they move on. And now they're starting to see the coffin outside of the room, and it's moving. Like, again, this is on camera. And then the team one lead is like, we're not seeing anything. What are you guys seeing up there? So they're starting to get worried. So yeah, now they're starting to get worried about what command is trying to see. So, and like I said, at this point, the closer and closer they got to the coffin, and they're switching cameras to keep an eye on the team. They're starting to see a lot more gruesome stuff. The most terrifying is when the team opens up the coffin, and command now starts freaking out. Everyone that's looking at the cameras, they're hearing screaming. There's a bunch of like I guess them throwing up because what they're seeing is like horror beyond recognition, I would say. Like yeah. The saying, like it's something that your mind can't perceive or whatever. And yeah, that's when Team One was like, all right, you know what? Screw it. We're closing that thing. We're getting the hell out of here, because they thought that command is under attack. But really, it was just them looking at the camera, seeing whatever the hell it was. I can't imagine an object that can cause you to look at a bunch of terrifying stuff on camera, but not when you're there. Yeah. It definitely has that paranormal scene to it, That's why 895 to me is like my most favorite out of all the other ones. So Immortus, how about you with the thousands of monsters?
I did SCP-343. He's basically God. He's safe. He's kind of smug. He's just like, I don't care. I do what I want kind of type. So that's why I was like, okay, I never heard of this one before. So I was like, okay, I'll pick this one. It
sounds like the God I know.
Pretty funny. He's just humanoid. He's not really he doesn't have a race. He's just there. But someone said he was discovered walking the streets, and they watched him disappear and reappear on a rooftop, and they nicknamed him God because he looked like an older guy. He had like, in like the Bible, the hair and the Ten Commandments,
the beard and all that. Yeah.
Hair. Yeah, he basically looks like that. Yeah. Someone said when they visited him, they they heard a roaring fireplace, and he loves speaking to people. And basically, he's kind of snot, He likes company, but sometimes he can be manipulative. He's not harmful. He's just very laid back. There's a lot of redacted stuff. Oh my god.
Dude,
it's funny
the thing
having it being redacted. He's such a nice person. He speaks with pretty much everybody there, the staff, employees. He likes to have all the company in the world. There's not much to talk about this guy. Basically, just, I'm God. I can do what I want. I like company. They asked if he's the creator of the universe. They laughed at him, and he's like, here I go. I can go through this wall. And they're like, oh. But he's like, not fear me. I am God, but I am the greatest person ever to live.
Be not afraid.
Oh, God. Do not look at that, please. If anybody looks at that, no, I don't want to go to heaven after seeing that. But no, I think this has to be like the most wholesome SCP ever. If I'm correct, I could be wrong. So basically, yeah, that's about it. He just likes company. He likes to show off that he can just be God and he's a creator of universe, which is weird because SCP, you think they're all like monsters. No, this guy's just chill dude.
Yeah,
So
like there are like passive friendly, SCP monsters. Like not all of them are like bloodthirsty world-ending monsters.
Right. So that's basically the gist of it. That's pretty much him. Like he's just God, cool guy, no problem with him. Kind of a jerk when he wants to prove his powers, but he doesn't kill anybody. He's just relaxed and yeah, that's about it for him, man.
Yeah.
So
sounds about right. All right, Tay, that leads to you. As someone that hangs around with Jedi a lot, who, by the way, is a huge fan of the SCP community. What do you got for us?
Well, I got SCP-173. This thing creeps me out.
Yes, the founder.
The sculpture.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was saying the founder because that was the monster that started it all.
Yes. SCP-173 is only a sculpture. It doesn't move. It stays in one spot. You would think it would stay in one spot, but all in all, it doesn't. It actually just only appears in certain rooms. It will take place in locker rooms, gas catwalks, server farms, any small room that you can't really see it at. You can't really see it because it only stays in one place. But if you don't pay attention, he can actually the sculpture can actually move and it will kill you instantly. It actually says it's supposed to be the sculpture is supposed to be really tall. It's a really tall object if you don't really see it. But it will appear in any place. That's why I get a little nervous talking about these type of things because I get freaked out. But yeah, this thing will kill anybody. This thing will kill anybody it sees, even though it doesn't move. It will just kill you if you don't watch where you're walking through. So that's really all on SCP. That's all on SCP-173. That's not really much information about it, but it can kill you if it will get the chance.
Yeah.
So that's it about the sculpture.
Yeah. So an interesting thing I want to say, by the way, about 173. I'm looking at the website right now, and I do remember that the image that they got was from, was he a Japanese artist? It was somewhere in Asia. The image that they got originally, it was a sculpture. I forgot what the name of it was. I think it called Peanut or something. I don't know. Basically, they had this little conversation with the original artist, and the artist did mention that. Oh, I don't know if he did mention it. I'm trying to remember how it went. No, I remember. It was a creator of the SCP Wiki, people themselves, that they started to feel bad for this artist that made the sculpture basically for a different reason. It was only made, for art, and I think it was supposed to represent something else. But they were starting to feel bad for the artist who basically would have so many people being like, oh my god, it's SCP-173, when really that's not what it was supposed to originally be. So, to give respect, the image that they had on the website is now no longer there. And I could have sworn they held, like, someone was holding a contest of, okay, well, if that's the case, then we'll need a different design of what 173 should look like. As of right now, the image is not there, which I'm surprised about. But there were a lot of people that took this opportunity to, a lot of 3D artists, I would say, taking the opportunity to basically make a new sculpture of SCP-173. All the information is still there, like in the file, so there's at least not going to be that much changes. It's just they just need to find a way to make it different from the actual artist that made that sculpture. So, because like I said, it wasn't originally made to be part of the SCP wiki. That sculpture was made long before the website was made, and they only did it out of respect for the artist, because he doesn't want to deal with a shit ton of people being like, that's 173 when that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
We only had about 7 minutes. I didn't realize how short that segment was going to be. Well, I mean, that's fine, because now we at least have so much time to talk about this last segment. And oh boy, Immortus was I don't know how you felt about this one, because when I mentioned it to you of what we're going to talk about for the final segment of this episode,
yeah,
let's just say that you yourself had an experience going through this. And
yeah, this one was...
It is the dark web. Now, I feel like I don't really have to explain what the dark web is, but to the people that I guess are still new around the internet, I'm gonna say this before I explain what it is. Don't ever go through these websites, because it is a very
don't be stupid.
It is a very dangerous thing to do. I don't condone it. We recommend that you never do it. I wouldn't say that we would stop you, because, well, there's no way for us to know who goes to the dark web. In fact, there's even a chance that people that do go to the dark web are watching this video right now. Hello, how you doing? I don't go to that shit. Just letting you know, like, none of us do. I mean, one did, but yeah. I guess we could just say, Immortus, I'll let you have some time to explain what the dark web is like, being as you were the one that have been through those websites before.
I will get into this. All right, yeah, this one, oh man, where do I begin? I actually experienced something. Okay, basically the deep dark web, whatever you want to call it. There's actually something else that's creepier, and it's called the Charlotte's Web, but I'm not going to get to that one. Now it's a word.
Oh boy.
Basically the deep web, dark web, whatever you want to call it, you can basically do anything. You have to pay with crypto coin. You can't pay with real money because crypto coin is untraceable. So therefore, you could sell drugs, guns.
You two don't get mad at
other
us.
stuff you could say. I'm not going to say it for reasons.
Yeah.
You could take that from there. You can actually sell people. You can actually watch live streams of things. I'm not going to say. You can. You get packages. You can actually There's actually videos on there that are very disturbing. You're traced. See, all your IP is traced unless you go to a VPN. I'm not saying you should do it.
No, don't ever do it.
Don't ever do it. I did it once. I called a number. It was called Booth World Industries. And it's like this creepy place. I don't know if it's in Illinois or not. I called it. I was like, okay, whatever. And it was like something for face makeover or some creepy stuff. And I called it. I was like, all right, let's see what happens. Just a joke. I had to get a new phone because of this. So basically I called it and I was like, all right. They're like, oh, we are going to trace your number for security reasons. Please wait for an agent to get to you. And I waited, and they're like, welcome to Boost World Industries. How can I help you? And I was like, what is this? Is this real? They're like, please hang up the phone or we'll come to your house. I was like, okay, that's BS. Next thing you know, I was actually living in Antioch at the time. I saw a package. There was a dead rat in there. I'm like, oh, okay. Now I was like, nah, I gotta get out of here, man. This is bad. I had to get rid of the phone. I saw a black truck just sitting there. And this dude had a mask on. I'm like, I need to go now. I had to leave that state. And I'm just saying this from experience. You guys, if you ever go on that deep web, you're in a world of hurt. I'm serious. This is nothing to joke about. I thought it was just a dumb number. No, it traced my number, my IP, and my house. And I was just scared. I'm like, dude, this guy has a mask. I don't know if he's got a gun in there, dude. Nah.
Yeah,
Like,
so
I thought I saw a knife in there too, bro. I called the cops and everything. Like, nah. So now here I am telling you a story that I almost died. So,
and it's all because of the dark web. Like that's like this is
yep.
like you could tell the difference of the segments that we're talking about. The other two, the creepypastas, the SCP Foundation, all that's fake. That's fictional.
Mhm.
This, however, is not. This is like real stuff. And YouTube, I know you're gonna get
Oh,
mad
yeah.
at me for this, but I am talking about horror stuff, and well,
Mhm.
of course, one of the horror stuff things would be the dark web. This will be the only time I talk about this, unless I make a video about it. This will be the only
Yeah.
time that I'll talk about it because, talking about it right now, I'm fucking terrified. Like, I am beyond scared, and
Right.
it
Yeah.
it is it is it really is nothing. It's really something that you guys should not do. In fact, there are people on YouTube that have done it for content video, just so you can at least
Yep.
see what the kind of stuff that we're talking about. Um,
It could be anything.
oh yeah, and
Gimmick box, anything haunted.
now we're not going to talk about the actual websites because
No, I'm not doing that.
yeah, I'm worried that
You guys, no.
yeah,
No,
we're not going to talk about the
I'd
actual
rather not.
websites that are like that. If you guys want to in the comments, go ahead. Like if you've had experience with it, um, what we're gonna instead do is say what a website could have, you know. So, I know I'm like tiptoeing in this because I'm really scared about this. So,
I don't want to. I don't want to take over the storm. Is it okay if I name one website?
if you want, go ahead.
I'm not going to name the website, but there is a website where, oh man, I'm not going to swear, but
Yeah.
damn, this website got me like cold to heart. Like, there's people that like so. I told my girlfriend never to get a baby monitor, and I told her why, and she's like, "Why?" And there's people that could spy through that on the deep web. So,
Yep.
yeah, that's why I don't believe in cameras. Like, I do, but there's just so much filth that can just someone can enter your home. They're like, "Oh, I can see through your monitor. That's cute. I'm gonna come to your house." Like, no, that's horrifying. Like, people don't realize this stuff is just it's happening any hour, any time,
Yep.
any day. Right now, as we speak, it's
Yep.
happening right now. There's people getting trafficked, everything.
Yep. And I will say,
yeah.
there, like the good thing is that there's already a police force that patrol that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, they're not going to go away because they're like they're kind of like cigarettes. I would say once it's there, it's going to be really difficult to even get away. For them, at least for them to die off. Now I will say about the dark web. Now, and I've obviously heard about this, before someone made a horror game about it. It was called Welcome to the Game. Now, what this game?
Okay.
So, like, if you guys wanted to experience what the dark web is like, but you don't actually want to go through the websites themselves, well, there is a game, that can help you with that. Like I said, it's called Welcome to the Game. Now, I'm instead going to talk about this one and not the actual websites because, well, the game basically has all the information there for you. And what you do there are two of them, and both have different. They both have different objectives. In the first one, you're trying to get a room key to go to this place called the Red Room, and that website. I don't know if it's actually called the Red Room. I don't want to know, but it's a live streaming service of someone basically getting tortured and murdered, I would say. And your goal in that game is to get a bunch of room keys from a bunch of different dark websites, so that you can put in the password, I would say, or at least try to get the actual like URL. And in the second one, you're a reporter that's trying to find this woman that that was part of this website where someone tries to live stream through Facebook because they don't have a cellular device or not device, like a cellular network, I would say. And they think that, okay, well, if we try to stream through Facebook or try to video or FaceTime with someone, they can try to get help. However, in the place that they're at, they what was it? They changed the data to where it becomes a live stream on that dark website. And from there, people can look at the victim that they got and they vote whether this person should die or, be free.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil the ending because, well, let me just say Welcome to the Game 2 is like very difficult, I would say, because I forgot to mention, that's right, there's a bunch of dangers basically. See, in the first one, you only have to deal with 2 people. There's someone that would break through the window and basically kidnap you, and then there's a serial killer that would try to break down through your door. In the second one, however, you got the serial killer, the breather, that was his name. You got the noir couple that would break into your apartment. You have the police that could track your website or track your internet and basically break down the door and arrest you, I would say. And then there's also a hitman that would be hired to basically assassinate you. And let me just say, all the websites, all the dangers that happen in the game, they are reference to what would actually happen if you go through the dark web. And there is this one website that I found on Welcome to the Game. It's definitely, and they're all referenced to the actual website. There is someone that basically, I don't know if YouTube would allow me to say this, but let's just say he would take a young woman and turn them into dolls. I'm not going to say what kind of dolls. You already know what I'm talking about. But, it's crazy stuff like that. Tay, what do you think of the dark web, huh?
It's a really scary thing. I don't know a whole lot about the dark web. That's why talking about this kind of subject, in my own opinion, is really tough.
Oh yeah, it creeps me out as well. So,
Yeah, it creeps me out to high heavens. I don't want to mess with it. I never want to know what it is. But a lot of bad things can actually, happen to you. And I just don't really. I just even me talking about it right now is just giving me the creeps. I like I said, I don't know a whole lot about it. I tend to stay away from it, and yeah. So that's all I gotta say about the dark web because I don't know a whole lot about it. But I never experienced any dark websites. I don't really tend to start now. So
yeah.
nothing bad has happened to me yet. So thank
Ooh, I
goodness.
really wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I really wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say that, but I do live in a.
Stop. Okay, stop it right there. Stop. Don't ever say where you are. Okay. I'm trying to save you.
I'm just saying.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I might experience things that in my area where I won't experience. Let's just say that. Yeah.
Okay. So, oh man, you guys, you gave me a scare there. Thank you for that. But also, let's calm it down a bit, okay? So
I'm just giving an example.
See,
I live like in a.
Stop.
Okay, shush.
Stop.
Shush. How about that?
Okay.
How about that? Okay, how about that for a bit, huh? So,
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Okay,
do that,
so
man.
look. I just want to say here in the Horror Cabin podcast, it is we do want to cover, especially in my own channel where I make my own personal videos. We do our best to cover everything horror related, even if it means like a bunch of real life stuff that we talked about. The only other ones that we talked about were serial killers in the second episode that we did, which, by the way, I am happy to say that I finally got that published today. Yes, it really did take that long to publish it. By the time we're recording for the 4th episode, I got a third one in the makes right now, and I'm really trying to get my mind off of the dark web stuff because now I'm starting to regret that we talked about it. See,
man, everything horror related. Anything can be horror. War can be horror. Like anything, man. You think about it.
Exactly.
It's creepy to think about, but it plays a role in horror, man.
Yep. And if it terrifies,
it's happening now.
If it terrifies you, good, because that's the job of horror. If you're not scared, is it really horror? If it doesn't give you at least a creepy feeling, are you really getting scared at all? So that's a little thing to think about when it comes to horror stuff.
Indeed.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to say before we end the segment?
Yes. I love talking about horror, but like when I said that story about the web. That should be a warning not to mess with what can happen online. Like, like for example, if you're like gaming, that can also happen. Like the deep web could trace, someone gets mad at you in a game, they could be like, oh, I'm gonna do this and that.
Yeah.
So let this be a lesson. Horror is horror. Don't be dumb. Yeah, just leave the internet on the, just don't do deep web
Just
stuff,
stay safe
please.
just stay safe
Please.
on the better side of the internet that we're on right now, with YouTube,
On the
Facebook,
internet.
on the internet. Yeah. Basically, I would say stay safe even when you're on, the legal side of the internet. Because there are bad people out there that go on these normal websites, I would say, hackers and hiring people, I would say. But yeah.
Yeah.
So wow, that was a beautiful ending for this episode, isn't it? Oh man.
Yeah. Jeez.
I'm getting like really scared right now after we talked about it. Because here's the thing. I love talking about horror stuff, but it's all behind a book, all behind the screen. If it's anything real life, like real life horror stuff, I can't do well with that, Like that's what scares me the most. It's the same thing when I heard that skinwalkers could actually be a thing,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Navajo tribe, they got the whole Cherokee tribe, everything, man. It's creepy. It's real.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Anyways, thankfully in the next episodes we're gonna talk about stuff that are all fictional at this point because oh my heart, I'm trying to lower down my heart rate right now. Oh my god. Okay, so yeah, that's it for episode 4. We're finally back officially this time. I'm gonna do my best to make a fixed schedule for the podcast and also at the same time try to get my videos going. Thankfully, Masked Man is still editing my stuff, not the podcast, but for my other videos, because don't want to give him too much work. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment down, any of the stuff that you, any horror topics that you love, especially with what we talked about right now. Your favorite creepypasta story, your favorite SCP monster. You could even share some experiences of yourself in the dark web if you've done it before. Like I said, I don't recommend you do it. I would recommend that you stay safe on the safer side of the internet. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to know when more of our videos come out. Well, more of my videos, I would say, because I don't know what these two are doing. They're just there.
Living like Larry, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and we hope to see you guys in the cabin again very soon. Have a fun, safe night. I am not ready to go to work tonight after I talked about the dark web. Oh boy. Have a good. But yeah, hope to see you guys in the cabin again very soon. Have a good night.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care.